Welcome to another episode of Ask the Attorney Anything. I'm Rebecca Zung. I'm so excited to see all of you here. I am broadcasting simultaneously live via StreamYard into my YouTube channel, my Facebook group, and my Facebook page. So I can reach as many of you in my community as I possibly can all at once. It's just such a lovely invention. And I see that I already have some people here. So I would love to know where you are all tuning in from. And we have people who watch from literally all over the world. Narcissism is everywhere. There are toxic people and difficult people wherever there are people. So my dad used to say that the percentage of idiots per population is the same wherever you go. So I think that's definitely true. And hello, Joyful, and hello, Natalie, and hi from the UK, and hello, Callie from New York, and Lexi, and Tia from Cincinnati. I'm so excited to see all of you here and answer your questions and be in service to you. So hi, Trudy from Australia. We have a lot of people in our community from Australia and New Zealand and the UK. So it's really great to see all of you here. I want to see if any of you have any questions for me. I actually just interviewed Judge Lynn Toller this morning. I'm so excited to share that interview with all of you. She was the presiding judge on the television show Divorce Court for 14 years and answered lots and lots of questions about how to best present your case to a judge, what happens if you think that the judge is believing the narcissist lies and all kinds of stuff. I mean, really good stuff. So I would love to answer any questions that you guys have. Hello, Georgia from the US. And hello, Mati from Germany. And Jennifer says, very kind of you to give your time. I love answering your questions. I love being in service to all of you. My only dismay is that I got so many questions from you guys that I can't answer them individually anymore, but I can certainly answer them here, and I can also answer them on my live webinars when I do an extended version of this, which there will be another one this Thursday at 9 a.m. Pacific time. If you can't make it, you will get the replay. So sign up anyway, even if that time doesn't necessarily work for you, because showing up live is better if you can, because I do an extended version of the Ask the Attorney Anything, and I try to be there as long as I can to answer all the questions that I can. So, let's see. I have a question from Kate Graham. How do I stop the other party from filing false motions and reneging on agreements made in family services meetings? Okay, so those are two separate questions, Kate. One is, how do you stop them from filing false motions? Well, you can't. You can't stop them from filing false motions. People can file whatever they want to, but you can call them out on it. So you can either respond to it formally if that's the process in your particular state, country, or jurisdiction, or you can file something that says, you know, it's harassment, or it's false, or it's fraudulent, or something like that, depending on what the law provides for in your particular state, country, or jurisdiction. As far as enforcing agreements, if these agreements were reduced to a writing and memorialized in a writing, then I would definitely have those writings turned into a court order. If it's just a contract, then you will have to just ask the judge to enforce the contract. But if you've had the contract rendered into a court order, now you can say, hey, enforce the order or hold them in contempt of court, because they are now thumbing their nose at a court order. If it's just an agreement that you had verbally that was never reduced to a writing, very difficult to enforce oral agreements. And that's why I try to tell people to have as many layers of enforcement as you possibly can, so that you have many different avenues to go after them to enforce those agreements. Narcissists are very, very, very famous for not keeping their word, which actually works to their detriment a lot of times, because now you can show how they're not upholding their ends of the deal and their ends of the agreement. Okay, so that's the answer to that. Let's see. A question from Cynthia. How can you find out if my soon-to-be ex is going through Workman's compensation settlement in Michigan? I'm not sure if that's something that maybe you could search the docket for. Is that Cynthia? Yeah, you might be able to search the docket, like the court dockets for that. If not, then you can potentially just subpoena either whoever the Workman's comp company is, or just ask in discovery. You can always do a request for production, or you can do some kind of, other kinds of questions like interrogatories, something like that. And you can depose the person as well. So that's going to be definitely part of your discovery process. There are a number of different avenues that you can go through to try to find that. If you know who's representing him on that issue, maybe you can contact them and get the information as well, either through a subpoena or a deposition. Okay, so that's that answer. Pink Girl, how long does discovery take? Well, when you're dealing with a narcissist, it can take a long time. I've seen discovery take years sometimes, because what happens is, they don't provide the documents that they're supposed to provide. They block everything. They'll file whatever they need to block things, or they just don't provide anything, or they only provide parts of things. And so you're constantly trying to find the breadcrumbs to get to having all of the information that you need. So a lot of times I tell people, don't bother with like requests for production to try to get the narcissist to provide the documents voluntarily, because most of the time they don't. I would definitely just skip that step and go straight to a subpoena if you can, if procedure in your particular area allows for that, because you just kind of take out that middleman and just go directly to the source. You can't always do that. Sometimes if you're trying to get documents out of another country and you have to go through that country's court system in order to get the subpoena issued, it can be more difficult. But if it's possible for you to just go directly to the source and skip the narcissist in it, I would definitely do that. Okay, so let's see. So yeah, the discovery can take a long time, but there's ways to shorten it. And by the way, if they didn't file or if they didn't provide the documents that they were supposed to, and let's say, they were due on February 1st or something like that, on February 2nd, somebody needs to be doing something about that. Don't just let that go by, because now the narcissist is like feeling emboldened and empowered. So some jurisdictions require that the lawyers try to confer before you file anything. So, sometimes people are frustrated that the lawyer is just sending a letter saying, hey, can you send over the documents? You missed your deadline. But sometimes that's actually required by the local rules. So they have to do that. And then they can file their motion to compel, which will say, hey, I certify that I did try to resolve this peacefully, but it didn't work out. So you have to sometimes send a letter, say, okay, you get 5 more days or you get a week or whatever. If I don't have everything by this date, then I'm filing my motion to compel. Then you file the motion to compel. And, potentially you can ask for attorney's fees then too, depending on the laws in your area. Okay. So hopefully that answers your question. So Cindy's asking, my son is going through a divorce with a narcissist. She's everything you described. He has 3 children and temporary 7 days with him and 7 with her. How to win in court against her. That is exactly what I teach you how to do in my Slay program, I would just start by coming to my webinar. Have your son come to my webinar on Thursday, because I talk a lot about that and how to create leverage and how to create your strategy. The webinar is free. It lasts about an hour. I give tons and tons of content. And then I do an extended version of the Ask the Attorney Anything. So check that out. If you can't come on a live basis, you can certainly get the replay if you don't, if it doesn't work out as far as time. That's definitely what I would do. So let's see. So somebody's saying, so agreements and family services can be entered into court orders. We ask a judge and they approve. Yes, that is the answer. So you just take your agreement and you say, you ask the judge, can you please order that this agreement becomes a court order? And now the judge has the power. So they're basically just ratifying your agreement. That's the terminology. They're ratifying your agreement. They're saying, yes, the court's ratifying and approving this agreement, and now the court has jurisdiction to modify, enforce it, or do whatever they want with it at that point. And that way, if the person doesn't do what they say they're going to do, then you can ask the court to hold them in, show cause why they shouldn't be held in contempt, or ask them to be held in contempt. Normally for financial orders, people aren't like put into, jail. There's no incarceration for not filing your financial documents or anything like that normally. But if they don't, then they can be sanctioned in several other ways, depending on the laws in your particular area. Sometimes the sanctions can run from anywhere from attorney's fees to striking their pleadings to not allowing them to present certain things. I mean, the sanctions can be pretty harsh sometimes. And for a narcissist, one of the worst sanctions is just that, they're like lashed out in court, that they're exposed, that they are now not being seen as the perfect one. They want the judge to think that they're perfect and you're the crazy one. So that's one of the best things that you get out of it, by the way. So, okay. Are questions on Facebook looked at? Potentially. I mean, things that I say is anything that you put your hand to is a potential trial exhibit. So be really, really careful about anything you put your hand to, whether, it's a text message or an email or anything you put on social media is potentially a trial exhibit. So what I always say is, if you don't want the judge to see it, if it's going to make you look bad, then you don't want to hit send or push text or whatever it is that, is going to memorialize it for all the world to see forever. So just be really, really careful about that. And I would, if you're just asking a question like of me or something, that's not going to hurt you in any way. Trying to get information and help yourself is certainly not going to hurt you in any way. Now, I mean, the narcissist might say that it does, but Judge Lynn Toller, who I interviewed this morning, she's a judge from divorce court. She's got some great tips that, the interview will be coming out in a few weeks. But, one of the things that she was saying is, just look at them and just sort of smile and just go, oh, there they are. Check that. I see that, and sort of laugh to yourself. Don't laugh in their face because that won't get you anywhere. But if you just sort of mentally kind of take yourself out of the situation and look at it as an observer, it can really be very helpful sometimes so that you're not triggered by them. They want you to be triggered. That's one of the ways that they can control you and have power over you. They will definitely say things to trigger you. So they'll say the things that are the absolute things that they know mean the most to you. So they'll say like, you're a horrible parent, or you are terrible with money, or however they can hurt you. They're masters at reading people. And so they'll say whatever they need to in order to manipulate you and get you going. So, staying untriggered is really, really important. So let's see if I can take another question. Make sure that you like this video, by the way, like it, and make sure you subscribe to my channel and join my Facebook group and like my page and all that sort of thing, because that way you can get notified when I go live like this. And I'm starting to have some guests on my lives, and I have some amazing, amazing guests coming out as well, and some really great new content. So make sure you like everything. And let's see. What other questions can I answer for you? Is there a delay tactic that's used for some purpose with responding and scheduling? I'm not sure what that means, but I know that narcissists definitely use delay tactics because it's just a way of controlling you. It's a way of making you miserable, and they enjoy the process of getting you upset. And so it's definitely a way of getting you upset. So let me just see if there's any other questions I can answer. What would constitute as a reason for a judge to change a judgment? It really would depend. This is a question from Julie. It really would depend, because it's going to be based on the law around modification of whatever the topic is that you're looking at. So, modification, enforcement, all those kinds of things are usually driven by either statutes or case law. And you want to make sure that you have everything ready, all your ducks in a row, because that will help you present your case to the judge. Judges want to see facts. They don't want to just see somebody coming in and saying the person's a narcissist or the person's a liar. They want to see facts. They want to see evidence. And it's really important that you have all of that lined up, because, a lot of times you only have 20 minutes, 30 minutes, maybe 2 hours at the most. If you get a full day, it's a lot of judicial time. So you want to be super laser focused in how you present your case and your strategy, and you want to have your leverage ready to go and all that sort of thing. So, so thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Ask the Attorney Anything. I'm so excited to be here with you. I'm so excited to serve you. And that's why I put out so much free content, which is all up on my YouTube channel, my podcast. I do these lives so that I can serve as many of you as possible in a free way for those people who aren't able to afford lawyers or afford other things that I offer. So I'm so glad that you're here. Make sure you like this video. Make sure that you drop me a comment, share it out. Come to my free webinar on Thursday, and also, subscribe to my channel. If you want my free Crush My Negotiation Prep Worksheet, you can get that at winmynegotiation.com as well. And I will see you in the next video. Thank you all so much for being here.